The Trump administration has sent a 10-point memo to 9 U.S. universities offering preferential access to federal funds if they agree to sweeping conditions on admissions, hiring, student demographics, and campus speech. Among the demands, cap international undergraduate enrollment at 15%, ban the use of race or sex in admissions and hiring, freeze tuition for 5 years, require standardized testing, e.g. SAT, for applicants, address grade inflation, promote viewpoint diversity among students, faculty, and staff, and dismantle or reform institutional units that punish, belittle, or spark violence against conservative ideas. Screen foreign students for support of American and Western values, and require universities to share student disciplinary records with federal agencies. Free speech and academic freedom concerns raised by critics include: it's argued that tying federal funding to an ideological alignment effectively pressures universities to conform to a political agenda rather than protecting independent inquiry. Critics worry that the language about punishing or belittling conservative ideas is vague and could be used to stifle criticism, academic discourse, or dissent that doesn't align with the administration's stance. The requirement to share detailed foreign student records raises privacy, due process, and surveillance concerns. Some institutions may face economic pressure or loss of funding if they refuse, which may coerce compliance.
What you also don't see is viewpoint neutrality. In the text and discourse of this compact statement, it's not clear if the views of pro-Palestinian students and faculty are going to be welcomed in a value neutral, viewpoint neutral environment. It doesn't seem like that. It seems like it's basically reflecting ideas of Islamophobia and saying certain students and certain groups can speak out freely and protest, but others cannot. It seems like the Trump administration is trying to federalize universities for control, just like they have done with the National Guard in different states and cities of the country. Another big problem with this compact, if it was taken seriously, is that it would lead to a permanent investigation of universities. It's couched in terms of annual reporting, studies, accountability, oversight, and those kinds of things, which essentially puts the universities under a permanent settlement agreement with the government without the ability to litigate the ways that it violates First Amendment rights and it violates faculty speech and most specifically academic freedom. The University of Virginia is a state institution as I mentioned, under the authority of the state legislature and not the Trump administration. We would love to see, tuition frozen if our state government, state legislature would increase funding for public education. I don't think that's a problem as long as the state government and legislature is willing to support higher education.
So I definitely think that Penn shouldn't accept this kind of offer. And I say this because I think it's considering the diversity here at Penn and just like the various ideas that are present, I think it would kind of be too polarizing. Like the decision would, I feel, kind of strip away some of that diversity that is here at Penn. And so I definitely think that, and in addition to like funding, UPenn doesn't need it. We have a lot of alumni networks, and I feel like if there was a case, like the alumni would just help more. And like we don't really need that support as in a comparison to other schools that may need more of that funding. So yeah, that's my opinion.
I think I look at this in two different lenses. I think one of them is the political science lens of, do we want officials, elected or not, to be saying how experts on the situation, like experts in the world, in a place of academia, to what extent do we want electeds telling experts to do? I think there's that piece. And honestly, I think there's some places where a very much like a prescribed curriculum can be super valuable, but I don't think higher education is one of them. I think the other piece is that the statements say a lot about these radical left values, these like Marxist values. And I mean, you look at Penn and you see that 50% of people are going into either international banking or financial consulting. My professors must be pretty bad Marxists if 50% of students are going into the banking sector. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think it's something that Penn should sign at all. I recognize the need for federal funding, but I think about, the words that are written on my shirt. Penn's motto is "Laws without morals are useless." And this would be a moment where we ask what's more important, the money or the morals. And I implore Penn to take the moral side, but we'll see. I'm scared, but at the end of the day, like I'm here to learn and develop and grow as a person and leave my mark on the world. I think for me, no matter what happens at the federal level, I have confidence that somehow in the end of the world, it'll be okay, or at least I will have fun in this time that I'm here. So I'm not I'm not like in my room screaming about it all day, but I do think that, at the end of the day, I do have a responsibility and a role to play in sharing my stories and my thoughts. But yeah, I think it's ridiculous to say that Penn has crazy radical left views if half of Penn is going into financial services. I mean, the president himself has gone to Wharton and knows the process, and I would not consider it very radical left in there.
I feel that something that is education-based, it should be supported and not forced into anything that it is not structurally meant to do. There's a reason that those kind of laws were made and those motions were made to support students for education, and I think that the message is getting lost in the action, and we just need to back off and maybe mind our business a little bit and let the institution do what it was meant to do and support the students.
I feel like this is kind of sort of an attack on me, who I am, a lot of my family, and a lot of my friends here at Penn and throughout my life. And also, I guess I can kind of see where they're coming from, but to me it's coming from a very privileged standpoint of, this doesn't directly impact me, this doesn't directly benefit me, so here's why we're going to cut it and do other things and move a certain direction, where I believe America is founded based off diversity, based off equity, and the inclusion of all of that into our modern society, which manifests in many, many ways that we see today.